friends, how are you today? This is Sandy with Simply Blessed, and I am so glad that you could join me today for coffee. And I thought that today I would talk to you about something that happened to me just yesterday. Yesterday, I just woke up and I felt, for the lack of a better term, I just felt blah. I didn't feel sick or ill. I wasn't necessarily unhappy. I couldn't even put a finger on exactly what I felt. So I decided today that what I would talk about is, what do we do when we just have the blahs? When we're really not feeling depressed and not really feeling motivated to do anything, but we just can't put a finger on exactly why we're feeling off. And that's even what I said to one of my friends. I do a FaceTime every Sunday morning with a friend in Rhode Island, and she said, I just really feel off today. I said, wow, that's exactly how I am feeling. I'm feeling off, and I'm very tired, but it's not really physically. And I said, exactly, that's what I felt like. We went ahead and had a very short discussion, and what we were going to talk about yesterday was really something very complicated, and it was going to take a lot of emotion and thought and expression. So we decided that it was not time, that we could go ahead and postpone it for a week and just give ourselves a break. This morning, I went ahead and got up and I did a little bit of research on what that means to feel off or to feel just blah. And of course, I'm not talking about feeling this way for a long period of time or months and months worth of time. I'm just talking about for a day or two, because if we're talking about a long period of time, then that may be depression or something serious going on in your body physically, or something that needs to be addressed by a professional. Talking about days going along, and then just one day you get up and it's just blah, and everything is off, and nothing seems interesting, or there's little to no motivation to do anything at all. In some of my research, I found out and realized that it really is normal to feel somewhat blah once in a while, and especially during the winter months, which we are in. It's February, and that's just kind of part of the season. Dull, no color, very little texture. The textures are harsh and dry. So it's not uncommon for what is going on externally to transfer to us personally. The winter months also have a lot less sunshine, and that means the body wants to rest more, and therefore we feel sleepy and tired sooner. So we are craving to sleep longer during the winter, and this is natural. Our bodies basically sometimes have to push to have the same momentum that it does in different seasons. So that continual pushing throughout the week, we are proved to be more tired, just a little bit more exhausted, just a little bit more frazzled, because our body is still craving a lot more sunshine and a lot more rest. Sometimes it's not just our body that needs a rest, it is actually the brain that needs a rest. On average, the brain makes 36,000 decisions a day. So I began to do a little bit of research about what could I do and what can I do whenever I feel blah and I don't feel in the mood to really necessarily do anything. And the first thing I learned is that it is okay once in a while for myself to feel this way, and that when I do feel this way, that I don't really necessarily need to push myself. During these times, my motto needs to be, keep it simple and easy does it. Move easily through the day. Not rushing or not going extra slow, but to do absolutely nothing didn't really seem like the answer to me. What I decided to do was to go ahead and work on some cross stitching that I've been working on for a while. but I went ahead and dedicated the rest of the afternoon to just working on my cross stitch, and I watched a couple of Netflix movies. I realized that I didn't want to watch anything that was going to take a lot of brain energy. I wanted something that was fun and comical and not something that I had to figure out or would actually bring a lot of emotions forward. So I watched even a couple of movies that I had seen before, and they had been a number of years back that I saw them, but I went ahead and watched those so that I could halfway pay attention to the movie and still do my cross stitch. Another thing that I did was I took my dogs for a ride, and then I took them to the dog park. So we did have some sunshine yesterday, which was great, and I was able to be outside and get some fresh air. In my reading, I saw that another thing that is very important is to have periods of time or days that you let yourself just daydream or not have to problem solve. And as kids, we don't have a hard time with this, but as adults, we really do. We have a hard time of just letting go and letting ourselves have free time. I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and today is very, very different. We have stores open 24/7. Things never do shut down. So what that has done to us sometimes as society is that we never do shut down. We never give ourselves permission to shut down. And if we do, we feel guilty about it. I wanted to take a lesson from my childhood yesterday and actually try to have a day with no agenda and just go with a whim throughout the day and not really try to have something accomplished by the end of the day. I found that I went ahead and did my real simple routines like cleaning the kitchen, sweeping up with the broom, and picking up and putting away at the end of the day, making my bed, but there was nothing extravagant that I had to achieve or to do. And at the end of the day, I felt this feeling of blah just begin to lift, and it was gone. And was very much accomplished? No, not really. I did have some things done on my cross stitch, which I enjoyed, but it was not anything to super applaud, and that's okay. Another thing that my husband and I did was we watched a classic movie on Turner Classic Movies. And it was a movie that was based on a true life event called Hitchhiker. And I really do like watching movies that were set in the 40s and 50s and are made in the 40s and 50s because it was such a simpler time and the effects are so less dramatic. And so you have to really pull from the character and not just from all the sound effects and things that are going on around it. And absolutely, it was very relaxing and we actually enjoyed it. Some other things that I found that you can do, besides just the things that I did, was you can clear the air, light a candle. I like to light sage. I do this a lot in my meditation practice, but actually change the atmosphere in that kind of way. Go to a local museum and just meander. Walk on a gravel pathway. And not do it so that you can clock time or clock distance. Just do it as a meandering. Go to a different restaurant that you've never been to before and order something totally different than you have ever ordered. Allow yourself to just feel blah. Allow yourself just to feel what you're feeling and not try drastically to change it. Don't force yourself to feeling something different. Play solitaire with real cards, not on a screen or not with your phone. Read a real book, not your Kindle. Read a book for entertainment. Take a Sunday drive. Play in the dirt or play in the sand. And believe it, I have done this a number of times as an adult. We will go to the playground and I dig in the sand. I actually have had before my own sand castle building kit. And when I go to the lake, the beach that's on a lake that's kind of nearby, I build sand castles just like the children do. And because I love the feel of the sand on my feet and in my hands. There's actually a therapy dedicated to that, and they say that the real reason that going to the beach is therapeutic is not because so much of the water, but because of the sand. Let it be a day that you do not problem solve, that you go ahead and journal about it. If you're feeling like you need to and you have to make a decision, maybe do so. But if you're not having to make a decision right now, then put it off. Put it off until a day that you're not feeling incapable of doing so. Don't expect someone else to change the feeling that's within you. Change the feeling yourself if you think it needs to be changed, but don't rely upon someone else to change that blah feeling or be responsible for that. And maybe let it be a day that you spend in solitude and not looking to someone else for entertainment. And of course, do not feel guilty for having a day that you just let your mind and yourself meander. I hope that you've enjoyed our time together today. I know that I have. And stay simply blessed, because life should not be complicated. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.